Supreme Being, everyone.
Supreme Being.
Nice to see you back. Before we start, we would like to invite you to our upcoming workshop on the 24th of September. That's this Sunday. So make sure you don't miss it. We still have spots available there. And the link to sign up is
in the description below.
Is in the description below. It's going to be manifesting your twin flame journey. It's going to be very exciting and interesting. Yes. Anyways, we move on to our video today, which is about the deep meaning of twin flames, and that's a little bit different than what I'm pretty sure than what all of you think.
Yes. It will be, again, it will cause different perceptions. And I hope the perception we will try to give out is the same that we will receive. So it will be about the strengthening the power of your connection. It sounds less than what we are about to say, actually. And I am actually still learning this thing, because there's much more into just being the opposite of your twin flame. And I guess there's no end to it. We are just able to understand and grow with it slowly, because from the first very level 1 perspective of all humans, we all think that we are the same. And then we start to see other people thinking that we are actually quite different, and there's 4 races and whatever. And then we start to actually think, okay, we have the astrological signs, and if we see clearly, we are so unique that we can actually be an entirely different species if we see clearly.
Even genetically, we are charged in a unique way, and no one repeats exactly the genetical code of another person. So this by itself speaks a lot, and that implements to a huge extent to the twin flames, maybe even deeper.
Much deeper, yeah. Incredibly deeper.
Now, we all perceive pretty much that the one twin flame is the yin, the other is the yang energy of the twin flame bond. And indeed it is so, but how much do we actually know about opposites? I feel that the perception of humanity generally about opposites is not quite outstanding, because recently we found out, it's been there always, but not much people speak about it, and I don't even know why, because it is in reality very important. And we actually came upon the concept of matter and antimatter.
Actually, we came up with this even last year. We were talking to each other. I don't know where you were, but we were a little bit distant. It was like last year, but you were somewhere else. We texted each other, and it was very cool.
Yes, I do remember now. Yes. I even have like an exact vision of how we are speaking to each other.
Yes, and we were like using exclamation marks, like, wow, we are, the opposite. Like, of course we are the opposite, but when you understand deeper what opposite really means, it really gives the jolts on your skin.
Exactly. Now, when we speak about matter and antimatter, it's not really black and white as we imagine. No. The yin-yang symbol is indeed black and white, but it's mostly just to symbolize, in a way, the deep meaning of opposites and twin flames in general. That's why in the white part of the one we see also a black dot, and vice versa. And that's not exactly just to say that both sides have both energies within, but it actually hints to exactly what we are speaking about, the matter and the antimatter. Now, to understand better what the antimatter is, because there's not much about it, generally as information, we will try to give you a few examples. Andre will explain a little bit better about the antimatter.
And you can compliment me as well.
Yes.
Not to sound like...
But when you think about the antimatter of something, think about of its shadow. So both in the black and the white, they have their own shadows. And that's actually their true opposite, their antibody.
Yeah, we are raised to call shadow the black, but actually both energies can emanate a shadow. It just it doesn't have to be black. When I'm editing our thumbnails of the videos, and I was checking how to to come out a little bit better from the background, and this is called a shadow. But this shadow, you can put black shadow or white shadow. So this also gave me a perception that shadow can be anything. It doesn't have to be black, doesn't have to be white, it can be anything.
Tell us about the antimatter, what exactly it is.
So one of the perceptions that more like the scientist community know is that the antimatter, first let's speak about the matter, is what has light and what has life. For example, a sun. The sun, they call it a star, and each star has a lifespan, and when this lifespan finishes, it explodes. I don't know if it is all the time, but after the explosion, the star can become, it doesn't have to, but it can become a black hole. And when it becomes a black hole, it starts to suck all the energy around it. So instead of having life, perhaps you can call it death. I don't know if that's a thing, but it is sucking all the life around. As the opposite, the sun is giving life, because all this light, we can use it to charge, our lives with radiant energy, and the plants as well, so that we can live. But the black hole is sucking the energy, and it's sucking so much energy that it can actually suck light, like the proper light that we use on lamps and stuff goes and inside the black hole, so it sucks all of this. So this is the like antimatter.
It's like a vortex, pretty much.
Pretty much, yes. That's what I saw a long time ago. One of the visions. That's probably the first video we have in the channel here.
Yes.
That I saw a black hole. I think black hole and antimatter are the same, and the vortex. Yeah, they're all the same.
So you can imagine how big actually this is. So if we imagine that the one twin flame is more of the matter, the other is more of the antimatter, let's say, of its counterpart. I had some very interesting examples. I'm gonna speak to you how we give examples to a child, for example.
That was very good.
Yes, if we think about good and bad, because most of the times we perceive them as opposites, right? But both of them have actually their own opposite, and that is good, and its opposite is actually not good, and bad is not bad. Now imagine that a child sees a person and makes a comment about this person, a small child, something that according to our perceptions it may even sound a little bit rude, but the child really comes out of pure innocence and doesn't put this perception into it, like it doesn't put any bad intentions. There's nothing of this sort. It's just innocent comment of observation. And what we usually do, the parents, they would most definitely try to explain to the child that what they're saying is actually not good. We would most of the times imply in this situation as not good. We will not say it's evil or it's bad, just because we understand that the intentions of the child were pure, and there was no evilness there whatsoever included. And this is just for the child to understand of how the norms of the society are, and what is the appropriate way to behave, let's say, of how we perceive the world. So in this situation, we will most definitely tell the child, that's not good. It's not good to speak in this way, or it's not good to point out in this way. And then you will explain, like, it's better to do this and this and da da da.
Yeah, we are the ones, the parents, giving the judgment, or teaching how to judge things better.
Yeah,
judgment actually is to know what is good, what is bad, in the most materialistic ways possible.
That's like another topic as well, but indeed it is so. And in this situation, actually, we see a perfect example of using the good and its opposite, not good, the most appropriate way. Because we usually compare good people to bad people, right? To how we perceive them as the perceptions of society, who is good and who is bad, or it could be judged as per our own perceptions. There's many different ways to judge something. But my point here is that we don't call the white black in this situation. We just call it, no, it's not white. You can just make it in this way so that it becomes white, right? And there's many other examples in this way to understand the concept of the matter and the antimatter. And as Andre said, the one is literally giving out.
Yes.
Giving out energy, giving out light, just like he said. And the other is pulling in energy and pulling in light.
Yeah.
Because light generally, even as, again, we oppose it to darkness, but in reality light is prana.
I think for them to understand better is to say energy, prana, energy, prana. Because energy ultimately is light, and it is matter. So that's just what it is.
Generally, light and sound, for example, are the same thing.
Yes.
It's the same type of energy.
Energy or frequency. Yeah.
So we cannot say like darkness is silence, right? If we compare both things, they're not quite the same thing. Silence can be a very good thing.
Well, silence can be quite loud, actually.
Yes, it can be very loud as well.
Yes, yes.
Actually, everything that seems light.
When you meditate, so people understand what I'm talking about, not
everything that seems light can be actually quite dark in its real shape and form, and the other way around. Things are quite opposite in what they realistically seem to us. Now, to figure out the correct answer for all this, one has to seek all this information in the subconsciousness. Unfortunately, the conscious brain, the conscious mind of the human being is structured in a way so that it envisions things in a certain way.
Yeah.
So abstract thinking, which is required in this aspect to understand the deep meaning of opposites, is a little bit more difficult to achieve, especially for some people. Some people have more imagination, for them it's easier, and others don't have so much imagination. They're more on the up-to-date life, how things are structured here on Earth. So for them it would be a little bit more difficult to perceive this concept. But if you try to tap into your subconsciousness, most definitely you are going to find the answers there.
Yeah. This is also to say that if we are not our true selves, ultimately that means the two people in the twin flame couple are going to be the same or practically the same, which will cause all sorts of problems, because you're supposed to be yourself, and by being yourself, you become the opposite of your twin flame. And your twin flame also needs to be itself. It cannot be, copying anything. I mean, if you two are getting much comfortable with one another, and year by year you start to do things that both of you like, and even the personality becomes the same, then that's okay. It's just temporarily, and if it happens naturally, it's normal. But the subconscious is the king here on Earth, and the subconscious rules usually. So if we do what the subconscious wants
silently,
well, it's better in a way, but of course we should not be entirely ruled by the subconscious, because if the subconsciousness is tainted by the past, like lifetimes and stuff, then we need to do something about it. That's why we have a superconscious, which is the higher self looking out for us.
If we embrace the concept of that our twin flame is our shadow, because we exchange roles. Andre is my shadow, I am his shadow. So if we actually embrace the concept of each other's being the shadow of the other, we start to really understand that we are exactly the same one being. And I know sometimes it's difficult to perceive this. It was difficult at times for us as well. But there's times when it's just the opposite. We just feel it all over with our whole being. That's because we manage in these moments to merge entirely with our shadow and to become one with it, which is the point and the purpose of all this, of the twin flame journey as a whole.
I was just imagining, because twin flames need to be together, need to merge and stuff. But can you imagine the matter and the antimatter merging in space, like the vortex and stuff? The one swallows the other, and then.
But it's just kind of how it happens.
And there's another thing. The vortexes, if you enter inside, you don't necessarily die. You actually can go to another realm. So I guess this also means that when twin flames merge, you shift to another
exactly
reality.
You move on to a next level.
You stop fighting, you stop seeing duality, and you just move on.
Exactly. Well, I guess we'll see you on our workshop.
In another dimension.
Or in another dimension.
Well,
the workshop will be another dimension anyways.
And thank you for everyone who has bought us the book, Twin Flame Model Remake. It's amazing.
Yes, thank you, and we hope you enjoy it.
Yes.
See you guys.
Ciao, ciao.